Everyone had a wonderful, wonderful week. This week in Chutz La'aretz that we are learning Parshas Korach and Eretz Yisrael Parshas Chukat. I wanted to share a Korach idea, which again I think has very, very universal application. We discuss in Parshas Korach at the beginning, Korach gathers his compatriots in order to rebel against the Nesius, the leadership, the rulership of Moshe and Aaron. And Rashi cites in the beginning of the Parsha a medrash, and the medrash describes that Korach was very, very jealous, and he had an argument, and his argument was that his forebears, Kahat, had a number of sons. One of those sons, the eldest of those sons, was Amram. So it would make sense, more or less, that Amram's children, he was the eldest, so his children, Moshe and Aaron, would get the Nesius. But the next son was Yitzhar. That's Korach's father. And as a result, he should have been next in line. He should have been the Nasi of Kahat. That's what he should have been. And therefore, what really, really irked him was his younger cousin, Elitzaphan ben Uziel. He's the one who got the Nesius. And he says, wait a second. Okay, it's one thing, Moshe and Aaron, your father, Amram, was the oldest of Kahas. Elitzaphan ben Uziel was the youngest. So why is Elitzaphan the Nasi? We should have been in line. Korach should have been in line. And therefore he begins his process of rebellion. This is where Rashi begins, a jealousy that he had, that he felt he was entitled. And he wakes up and this really, really sparks his anger. It's interesting, but this is not the first time in Chumash that we find a certain preference that Moshe and Aaron accords to Elitzaphan ben Uziel. Where do we find this in the past? We find this if you take a look in Parshas Shmini. So we are told in Parshas Shmini, Perek Yud, we're told that the sons of Aaron HaKohen, who bring an Eish Zara, they bring a foreign Eish into the Kodesh Kadashim. So Nadav and Avihu, they perish. They're now lying dead. Vayamusu lifnei Hashem. They're lying dead in the Kodesh Kadashim. Vayomer Moshe el Aaron, and Moshe tells Aaron, Hu asher diber Hashem leimor bekrovai hakadesh. Hashem, Moshe consoles Aaron and says, I will be sanctified. Hashem is sanctified by those that are closer to him. But now we have a technical problem. We have Meisei Mitzvah, Nadav and Avihu are lying deceased in the Kodesh Kadashim. They have to be removed. So who is going to remove them? Vayikra Moshe. So Moshe calls to Mishael ve'el Elitzaphan b'nei Uziel. He calls the two sons of Uziel, Mishael and Elitzaphan, Dod Aaron, the nephews of Aaron. Vayomer Aleihem. And he calls to them, Kirvu su'u es acheikem, go in. Take your brothers out. And what do they do? Vayikrevu vayisuum bekutantam el michutz lamachane. They go inside and they take them out. So Moshe has what I would call a significant mitzvah at hand to bury these Mason, to bury Nadav and Avihu. Meisei mitzvah. And a challenging task to go into the Kodesh Kadashim, really risk their lives, because look what happened to Nadav and Avihu, and extract their corpses and give them some kind of kvura. So he calls on, once again, El Mishal and Elitzaphan b'nei Uziel. He forgoes Korach. Notice what happens. Listen to it. Listen carefully. Nothing. Korach doesn't have a complaint. You don't see Korach crying out, voicing his taina, hey, what about me? Why don't you call on me? I'm the next oldest. I should have this responsibility. And perhaps that is the key to understanding Korach, is what was his motivation? When it comes to a mitzvah, when it comes to something challenging, you have to risk your life. So Korach is nowhere to be seen. When it comes to kavod, when it comes to self-aggrandizement, so now Korach is front and center. So you really want to understand why Korach fails. Perhaps you have to look at it in the context of Parshas Shmini and understand that when it was a matter of giving over, taking responsibility, performing a mitzvah, and perhaps a mitzvah that required an element of Mesiras Nefesh, so then Korach is nowhere to be seen. You don't find him crying out. Only when it comes to a matter of kavod, that's when Korach is front and center, and that perhaps elucidates what exactly was Korach's motivation. A lot of times in life, we get into disagreements, we get into machlokes, and we often find ourselves to be absolutely justified. But what is our motivation? So ask yourself, let's say the tables were turned. Let's say your colleague would have your position and you have his position. Would you argue as vociferously for his position? How much is it because it's you? It's your kavod, it's yours, and that's what's driving you? Or is it an authentic machlokes l'shem shamayim? The key litmus test is, if the positions were reversed, would you argue in the same fashion for your friend's position if he was holding on to your position? That's the key to whether it's a machlokas l'shem shamayim, like Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. So I think this, looking at our parsha, Parshas Korach, in the context of Parsha Shmini, is exceptionally elucidating about what was really behind Korach, what were his failures, and what we can learn from him. Have a wonderful Shabbos Kodesh.